All right, welcome to Spicer and Company. I'm Lindsay Keith, and Sean is off for the night. Well, it's the last Tuesday of 2020. We're almost there, folks. You've almost made it as we count down these final days of the year. We're in for quite a ride, though, politically speaking, that is. So you got to buckle up for the next week. Check this out. On Sunday, the 117th Congress will be sworn in, and we'll see if Nancy Pelosi can hold on to her speakership, as Sean and I discussed yesterday. And we're 1 week out from the Senate runoffs in Georgia. I mean, this is big. And we're just over a week away from some House Republicans who intend to challenge the electoral vote on the floor January 6th. All right, so that's just a couple things. Amongst that, the Senate today, Mitch McConnell, Senate Majority Leader, blocked a vote on the bill passed by the House to increase COVID stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000, which is what the president is pushing for. And while McConnell did block the bill for the time being, he said he's going to focus on increasing relief payments, but also wants to address the president's concerns with Section 230, which is one of the president's reasons for vetoing the national defense bill. And McConnell also said he wants to focus on election security. So all good things, but the president ripped Republicans in the House who voted to override his veto of the defense bill because it didn't include eliminating Section 230. So we'll have to see what the Senate does there. You know, all this as the president plans to head down to Georgia next Monday to rally for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. So a lot going on. Joining us to discuss all this is the Director of Press Communications for the Trump 2020 campaign, Erin Perrine. Erin, so good to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, a lot to get to with you, but before I get to campaign conversations and some of the lawsuits, I got to talk to you about these $2,000 stimulus checks. You know, the president is trying to get more money in the hands of Americans. The crazy thing is you have Nancy Pelosi on board with him and Chuck Schumer. I don't think I've seen this maybe ever in his presidency. But do you feel like this is what Trump voters are wanting? Are they on board with him with his $2,000 checks?
I think most Americans are on board with President Trump when it comes to these $2,000 relief payments. And let's not get confused here with Nancy and Chuck's crocodile tears. Now, let's remember for months, they stopped direct payments to the American people. They have stopped negotiations on the coronavirus bill and admitted they did so to try and politically harm President Trump. That's what we're talking about when the president talks about the swamp. And even through all of that, President Trump stood firm. He wanted relief for the American people. He wanted targeted relief for the American people and for American businesses. As Democrats continue to hem and haw, the president's going to continue to fight to make sure that Americans, through no fault of their own, get the direct relief they need because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, and he's pushing hard for it. You know, the crazy thing is Mitch McConnell obviously has put a stop on this for now. We don't know when they will vote on it, the Senate. But the interesting thing and what concerns me is how this is going to affect the Georgia Senate runoffs next week. Are you concerned about all that, what that could do to the race there?
Well, both Senators Loeffler and Perdue were supportive of the president's $2,000 payments, and the president's going to be going out there himself. We know there's no bigger political person out there that helps on the ballot than President Trump being out there in person. We have people out knocking doors continuously, talking to voters about what's at stake. And even as we continue to push for coronavirus relief and making sure the American people have what they need, the people of Georgia need to know they have fighters in Senators Loeffler and Perdue, and that President Trump wants to see them win victory so that we can continue to pursue strong America First policies. These are senators that helped do things like make sure the Trump tax cuts went through, like help build our economy, like help rebuild our United States military. They are needed in the United States Senate, and the president's going to fight for them.
You know, a lot of voters feel like this election was stolen from them. As the campaign knocks on doors down there, what are you hearing from these voters? Are they saying they're going to get out and they are going to vote on January 5th?
That's part of the conversation we're having, is about the need to make sure that people get out and vote. We can't take a single vote for granted here in Georgia, and we want to make sure that every person who can vote does get out there, because we don't want to send any Democrat to the United States Senate. We want to make sure we send 2 Republicans fighting for conservative values, for Georgia values, out there to D.C. to make sure that Chuck Schumer is not the one that's making deals with Nancy Pelosi for the American people. people, because we know that will kill the economy. It will kill the society we love in this country as they become extreme radicals.
Yeah, well, we know he said that we'll take Georgia and then we'll take the world. You mentioned the president being down there. He's going to go down there on the 4th. What does his message need to be to these voters who might be on the fence? They feel confused about this election being stolen for them. What is he telling them?
The president's message is clear. We need to elect both David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler to the United States Senate. That's a very clear message. And yes, it is clear that there are states across the country that certified the election results in direct conflict to the United States Constitution, and we are continuing the fight here on the campaign to protect the U.S. Constitution and free and fair elections. But to do anything other than to go out and vote for Republicans in Georgia would make sure that Chuck Schumer becomes the person at the helm in the United States Senate. That's dangerous for our country. So we want to make sure, and the president is unequivocally clear, we need both Loeffler and Perdue in the U.S. Senate.
Very important message down there. I want to talk to you a little bit about the campaign. You talk about fair elections, honest elections. Since the election, the campaign has filed over 50 lawsuits so far, but unfortunately, none have been won. Give us an update on what's outstanding still. How are you guys feeling?
We are continuing the fight, and of those 50 lawsuits, only a handful actually came from the campaign themselves. Many were filed by supporters in other states. We have actually just filed in the United States Supreme Court today to make sure that there is an expedited hearing regarding the results in Wisconsin. We know that in that state there were multiple thousands of votes that were certified in direct conflict to state law and in conflict to the United States Constitution. We're going to continue to be out there fighting because multiple states, time and again, chose to try and change their laws by fiat instead of by legislation. Doing it by fiat is direct conflict to the United States Constitution. And the president wants to make sure that every legal votes are the ones that are counted, and those that were cast in direct conflict to state law are not counted. We're going to continue that fight.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in the new year? Because we had Jenna Ellis on the show a little earlier, and I remember in that November press conference, she said it's not only about overturning this election, it's about election integrity. So what does that actually look like from the campaign and the RNC?
Election integrity means a whole host of different things. It means that moving forward, we continue to fight for Republicans, that we win at every level across the board, that you win your assembly races, your state Senate races, your state House, your state Senate races, you're winning these governorships, that you have laws in your state that protect free and fair elections, because that is what supports the Constitution and that's what supports our country. So this is a long-term thing that's going to be going on. We're going to make sure that moving forward as Republicans, that we protect election integrity, that we make sure everybody who can vote does so and only once, and that you can verify voters. In Georgia, we just saw that Stacey Abrams' sister, who is a judge there, blocked the purging of 2 counties worth of rolls, even though individuals had already cited they had moved out. Those are the kind of things that you're going to see Republicans face head on going forward.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, Erin, because these are so important. And what we're seeing is people are trying to change the rules so that they can change the outcome of elections, and that has to stop. And so I'm glad that you are holding people accountable, and that's going to continue in this new year. Thank you so much for being here. We'll have to have you come back soon again.
Thank you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.